CCW Austin continues, and honestly, we're reaching a new peak right now because we have a conversation with two of our standout workshop speakers, two people who are passionate about the space, passionate about making improvement when it comes to customer contact. Could not be more thrilled to have Jim Iyoob from Etech and Jeff Arnold from Verizon Wireless. How's it going, guys?
It's going great, man. Thanks for having us.
Definitely. Now, one of the key things to think about when you talk about this is that the standard for care is elevated. Regardless of what channel it's happening in, whether it's happening over voice, over text, in live chat, you need to have that personal touch. You need to make the experience matter to that customer. And that's a burden. You know, that's a challenge. It's something that seems very daunting. But the good news is you actually have the information you need already. It exists within your conversations. And that's something that you're really working on, Jim, helping clients unlock those insights, understand from the interactions you have what customers are looking for and what they want. How does that all work?
Oh man, it's a great question. And you're absolutely right, because in the old days, customer service, you waited on the phone, it took you 20 minutes to solve your problem, it was okay. Not anymore. And people are telling us that. There's 420 billion spoken words out there every day going on in the contact centers, and all that information, they'll tell you what they like, what they don't like, you know, how to make your products better, how to make me feel better, how to improve that customer experience. It's all there. So I'm using artificial intelligence, machine learning with human intelligence to derive those insights and make them actionable for some of our customers.
And why is it so relevant to you, Jeff? I know that, again, your company has a better matters philosophy. You are really trying to elevate that overall experience. So why is what Jim said, why was that relevant to your organization from an implementation standpoint, the kind of technology that you wanted to take advantage of?
Yeah, well, it really is important to be able to extract out what is it that the customer wants. You know, Verizon is built on better matters, continual improvement, identifying what is our customer needs, what is the pain point, what is the friction in that process. And so, like you said, all that information's out there. We have to know what they're saying. You know, with the traditional surveys, you only get such a small polled, you know, view of what your customers want. You don't really get to see what's the average experience, what's holding back the average customer, because they're not taking that survey. So you have to be able to get that information out of the conversations they're already having, so you can learn what you can do to get better and better serve their needs.
Now, you obviously focus on the chat sector, but what were some lessons you learned? Because yeah, it sounds great, there's all these insights out there, but if you don't actually get actionable information, then it was kind of just a frivolous exercise. So what were maybe some pain points you identified, some goals your customers had that this degree of mining, this degree of analysis helped you uncover?
Yeah, I mean, one of the examples, we were able to identify, you know, a missed routing guide, or like an IVR. So we've got customers who are going into the wrong channel, and it was based on, they were selecting an option that they were thinking was going to take them one place, it was really taking them somewhere else. And without being able to really dig into those conversations and realize where did they start and what did they want when they got there, we weren't able to identify that that was the challenge that was happening to those customers, and it was causing a lot of frustration. And so with being able to dig into those conversations, discover that they really wanted to go and find out about their order status, not order something new, we were able to get them to the right place the first time, really have them self-serve that solution and not even have to talk to someone, which is what they wanted in the first place.
Now, Jim, that certainly is a great case there of, I think, reducing effort, reducing sort of a hassle point, a pain point within the experience. You've been to a lot of our shows, you hear that buzzword talked about all the time, reducing effort, but I'd imagine that the kind of analysis you're doing, the way you're partnering with organizations, goes beyond just, you know, identifying pain points. There could be positive value you're generating as well. So what are some additional opportunities you see for organizations to use your technology or similar technology to really create a more valuable experience for customers?
So great question. So what we've done recently is we're doing a lot of case studies in the sales world where it's behaviors. If you think at the end of the day, it's all about the consumer having that conversation with your agents. Your agents have behaviors. Well, when you find out the behaviors that work to convert the opportunity for the customer and improve that experience, you're able to predict by training needs analysis and training gap analysis how to identify the agent's behaviors to actually improve revenue for that customer. The one we did yesterday, we showed a customer by improving 20% of his agent performance, it would be equal to about 2,000 points or $550,000 a month, an incremental revenue by fixing things that we already know works on other calls.
Obviously exciting, phenomenal results there. Now, Jeff, from your perspective, when you hear stories like that, what does that kind of let you know about future opportunities you may be looking for, ways that you can continue to use technology, not only to identify gap areas, but really to improve the connections, improve your agents, your team's ability to understand who your customers are and align with them, connect with them, engage with them. What are some of those maybe opportunities you see down the road to make that happen?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, by being able to really understand what they want, you can get more granular personalization, discover what is it in this situation that customer wants. And then from the agent side, our best agents are asking us, how do we get better? And the way we'll be able to do that is to let them share from each other. And so we can use this tool to extract the best practices and then be able to apply that across the platform. So I find out what is it that you do best, and then I can share that and then hold accountable by being able to measure, are they doing it? I showed the right way, I showed them what worked best, and then for your entire population, you're able to go back and see, is everyone using that best practice, or are some people not using it? And you can go back and make that change and do that coaching, to really improve and make the agent be able to deliver exactly what the customer wants, because the customer told us that's what they want.
So suddenly it's almost as if it gives meaning to your training, meaning to your best practices, because now it's not, this is what we've always done, or this is what some guy at a call center conference said we should be doing. It's, this is what our customers want, this is what our data shows works, so here's why you have to make sure that you do it time and time again.
Absolutely.
Now, Jim, from you're here, obviously you're seeing other technologies, other trends. I know that you're very passionate about where this is going. So what are some innovations you see down the road where you're going to be able to better help your customers, you're going to better be able to help them engage with their customers? What do you see as kind of the future, the things that we need to consider as we jump into 2019?
So I think the biggest opportunity we have in this space today, which Etech is doing some really cool stuff on, is Net Promoter Score. Right now, like Jeff talked about, people are going to fill out a survey if you went above and beyond, which is impossible on every interaction, or you upset them. What we've done is we've created an algorithm. The data's there. We can predict the Net Promoter Score plus or minus 5 percentage points with all of the average people who give you all those insights. And I think that's going to be the next revolution of getting real information that you can actually make actionable and fix problems.
And that's really what actionable analytics is, because it's not, I think a lot of times we're selling the concept a little too short. We're focusing on, okay, first it was just collect the data, then it was, can the data tell us what changes we should make? Now it's like, can the data tell us not only what we should make, but put that data in the hands of the person who can take the action, and then let them know what's going to happen if they do this, what's going to happen if they don't do that. That's really where it's going. Now, Jeff, I want to ask you, you're here, you're not as a technology provider, but someone who is a peer of a lot of our attendees. You're dealing with contact center challenges, you're dealing with the customer experience. So what are some lessons, some things you want to pick up in order to make sure that going into 2019, you're creating a better experience, you're continuously improving, you're continuously getting your agents ready to engage with customers?
We're wanting to learn, what can't you learn out of digging into those conversations? I mean, we're looking to find out, how do we make their journey easier? We're looking, how do we get that customer to need us less and be able to be more self-sufficient? And we're finding out as we head to the future, the customer they don't want to pick up the phone. They don't want to chat with us. They don't have to. They just want their problem solved. And so it really helps us to be able to go and build that experience that eliminates the issues.
Definitely, and what's great about that is that also coincides with efficiency as well. So it's one of those things where there's often this misconception or this myth that by focusing on kind of these efficient, simple transactions that you're basically costing some aspect of the customer experience. But I would argue, and it seems like your data shows, and you would believe, that when sometimes the most human thing to do is to make it easy for them, make it simple, allow them to move about the experience digitally, and when you do that correctly, you're building that human connection because you're showing how much you value that customer, how much you value the relationship you have, how much you value the time that goes into their journey. So Jim, what do you see as the best, the ultimate takeaway you've had so far? You've spoken here, you've been at this event. What is the one lesson that everyone needs to know about the customer contact space?
So I tell you, the one lesson I think everyone needs to understand is people make the biggest difference. Technology is an enabler, it always has been. Because if you think of some of the IVR worlds, when you take a customer and throw them into an IVR world, we think we're making it better for them. We're really not. The human intelligence behind it to understand what has to be done to make my customer an effortless journey, that's the key. And human beings are the ones ones that are going to be leading the force paired with the technology that's going to help it get done.
Yeah, it's not the idea, and that's where artificial intelligence comes from. It's intelligent use of your human workforce.
Yes.
It's not just having humans for the sake of having them. It's thinking about where they can impact the journey, how they can synergize with technology to create the best outcome. It sounds like you're continuing to be on the cutting edge, Jim. We love speaking to you. And obviously, Jeff, phenomenal work in terms of understanding what little things can you do, what big things can you do, what can you do in general to take those little moments and make them just a little bit more valuable, a little bit easier, a little bit less frustrating. Because when you think of everything a customer goes through, all the challenges they have, if you can, as a business, do your part to create a partnership and make it easier, you are going to create a better experience. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to speak to you. We heard great things about your session yesterday. Thanks a lot.
Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it.